What if I told you the address of your future marriage is already known in heaven, and it's not where you're living right now? There is a place you haven't moved to yet, a person you haven't met in the natural yet, and a promise with your name on it that is already active in the spirit. You are not just getting a partner. Your whole location is part of the prophecy. There is a city, a region, a community where your wedding is already seen, already known, already celebrated in heaven before you ever pack a box, book a ticket, or change your address. The Holy Spirit wants you to understand this is not random. That tug in your spirit, that quiet sense of, I don't think I'm meant to stay here forever, that's not a fantasy. It's not a daydream. It's not just your imagination running wild. There is a real place connected to your future spouse and your next season of destiny, and heaven has been arranging the timing, the geography, and the connection. In this message, I'm going to describe both the kind of place and the kind of person God has been preparing for you. Psalm 32:8 says that God will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. He will guide you with his loving eye on you. That means where you live, where you work, where you worship, and where you meet this person are not accidents. Before this video ends, you'll understand why you felt so restless where you are, why your spirit has been whispering change, and what kind of partner God is secretly aligning you with in this next chapter of your life. Asterisk, before we go deeper, I want to welcome you to this prophetic space. If you're here, it's not by accident. Right now, to agree with what heaven is doing, type these words in the comments. I'm ready. That is your act of faith. That is you saying, Lord, I'm available. If this word is for me, I'm ready to receive it. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of these prophetic messages. We are building a family of faith here, a community that listens for God's voice and responds. Now, let's move straight into what God showed me about you moving, about that place, and about the person who will stand beside you there as your covenant partner. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine you are standing in a place that doesn't feel like where you are today. The air feels different. The sounds around you are different. The atmosphere around your spirit feels lighter, clearer, more peaceful. There's something about this place that makes you feel like you can breathe again. You don't fully know why yet, but you know this is not just a vacation spot. This is not just a passing trip. It feels like home in a way your current location never truly has. For some of you watching, this place is a new city in your own country. For others, it might be a different region. Maybe closer to water, maybe a quieter area, maybe a more vibrant one. For a few of you, it is even another nation. But regardless of how it looks on a map, in the spirit, it has one signature: peace. Isaiah 55:12 says, You will go out in joy and be led forth in peace. Notice that. You go out and you are led. The going out speaks of leaving somewhere. The leading speaks of being guided somewhere. This is the movement heaven is highlighting over your life. You are going out from a place that drained you, and you are being led to a place that restores you. And in that place, you are not going to be standing alone. When God spoke to Abram in Genesis 12:1, he said, Go from your country, your people and your father's household to the land I will show you. God didn't even give him the full address at first. He just said, Go to the land I will show you. Some of you are in that exact phase. You don't have all the details yet. You don't know the full address of your destiny, but your spirit knows this. You can't stay where you are forever. There is a land, there is a place that God will show you. And in that verse, the land was connected to promises, to blessing, to descendants, to covenant. For you, that includes your future spouse. God is not only moving you to a new place, he's moving you into a new covenant. Let me start describing this partner that is connected to this place. Listen carefully and let the Holy Spirit highlight what is for you. This person carries peace more than drama. They are not perfect, but they are stable. They may not be the loudest in a room, but they have a quiet strength that makes you feel safe. They are the kind of person who prays before they act, who thinks before they speak, and who would rather have one honest conversation than 1,000 shallow ones for many of you. This partner has experienced their own move with God. They may have already come to that place before you, They might have relocated for work, for family, or even because God told them to step out. They understand what it means to leave comfort behind. They are not afraid to trust God with location, career, or relationships. That's one reason God is pairing you with them. You both will understand what it means to walk by faith and not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5-7 says we live by faith, not by sight. Your future spouse is someone whose life has been marked by that verse. They have had to believe God when things didn't make sense. They have had to hold on when others let go. They have walked through their own training season that has produced the character that will bless you. This person is not just a lover. They are a partner in purpose. When they look at you, they won't only see your beauty or your handsomeness, your charm or your smile. They will see the call of God on your life. They will want to help you fulfill it. They will celebrate your gifts, not compete with them. They will protect your heart, not play with it. And here's something the Lord impressed strongly. Your future spouse is someone who has learned to value home. The place you are going is not just another dot on the map. It is where God is building a home around you. Psalm 68-6 says, God sets the lonely in families. He leads out the prisoners with singing, You have known loneliness. You have known feeling out of place. You have known feeling like you're around people, but not truly seen. In this new place, through this new covenant, God is setting you in a family. Let's talk more about this place. You might be asking yourself right now, how will I know it when I get there? How will I recognize this place from all the others? There are some signs. First, when you step into this place, even if it's on a short visit, even if you're just passing through something and your spirit will say, pay attention, you'll feel a strange mix of peace and holy discomfort. Peace, because something about this environment will feel right, aligned, healthy. Holy discomfort, because you will feel God stretching your faith and whispering, could you live here? Could you say yes to this change? Romans 8:14 says, those who are led by the Spirit of God are the children of God. The Holy Spirit will not scream at you. He will gently nudge you. That tugging sensation, that sense of, I don't fully know why, but I feel drawn here. It's one of the ways He leads you. Second, doors will begin to open here that didn't open where you are. Opportunities, connections, favor. It might not happen all at once. It may start small. Maybe someone offers you a job opportunity. Maybe a friend invites you to visit. Maybe there's an open door to study, to serve, or to be part of a ministry. Pay attention to the doors that open in peace. Revelation 3:8 says God sets before us an open door that no one can shut. When God opens a door, you will not have to force it in your own strength. You may have to take a step of faith, but you won't have to manipulate or strive. Third, there will be a spiritual confirmation. You will sense alignment between what you've been praying privately and what's happening externally. Some of you have been secretly praying, Lord, if this move is really from you, confirm it. And He will. Through His word, through repetition, through dreams, through random conversations that suddenly mention that city or a region, through messages like this one. Let me pause here and ask you a question. Does your spirit feel like God has been calling you to something new, but you have been afraid to name it? Have you been feeling that where you are now? You have outgrown your environment spiritually, emotionally, and even relationally? If that's you, don't click away. In a moment, I want to break down 3 seasons God takes people through before He moves them, and how this is connected to your partner's description. But before that, if this message is already resonating with you, go ahead and write again in the comments, I'm ready. You're not just typing words. You're declaring agreement now. Let's talk about those 3 seasons. The first season is the unsettling season. This is when the place you are no longer feels like home. Things that used to satisfy you don't anymore. You may feel like your friendships are shifting. Work feels tight. You feel misunderstood. Your heart cries out for more. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says God has set eternity in the human heart. That longing for more is not always a sign that you're ungrateful. Sometimes it's a sign that the season is closing. The second season is the instruction season. This is where God starts giving you clues. He highlights certain scriptures, like Isaiah 43 minutes and 19 seconds. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? He may send prophetic words your way that speak of movement, transition, relocation. You may feel drawn to research certain places without knowing why. You might sense a pull to put your finances in order, to declutter, to prepare. It might even show up practically. Your lease is ending. Certain doors close, other ones open. The third season is the intersection season. This is where your movement and your partner's preparation intersect. You might think you're moving for one reason: work, family, study, but God is also moving you for another hidden reason: covenant. Just like Ruth left her land and went to Bethlehem with Naomi. She thought she was just following loyalty and survival, but God was positioning her for Boaz. Ruth 2-3 says she happened to come to the part of the field belonging to Boaz. In heaven's vocabulary, there is no just happened. There is only purpose. In your story, there is a Boaz field moment. A place you happen to walk into, a circle you happen to join, a church or event you happen to attend in that new place. But God has been orchestrating it for a long time. Now, let me describe your partner with more detail. This person has a heart that has known brokenness, but has not become bitter. They might have had a past relationship that didn't work. They might have known disappointment, but instead of hardening, they turned to God. They've prayed prayers like, "Lord, when you send me my spouse, I want to love them the way you want me to." They are not coming to you empty. They are coming to you processed. They honor God with their time. They may be involved in their church or community. They might be serving behind the scenes. They are not perfect, but there is a sincerity about their walk. They might not call themselves super spiritual, but they are sensitive to God. They are also someone who values responsibility. For many of you, this partner is stable in their work or is actively building towards stability. They may not be rich yet, but they are diligent. Proverbs 10-4 says, "The hand of the diligent makes rich." God is pairing you with someone who understands diligence, not laziness. They want to build something real, not just live for the moment in their appearance. This person may be different from what you naturally expected or even what your friends imagined for you, but there will be something about their eyes, their smile, their voice, or their presence that makes your spirit feel at home. You may not even be blown away at first glance, but over time, their character, their consistency, and their love for God will make them more and more attractive to you. And here is where the place comes in again. You will likely meet this person in one of three ways in that new location: through a house of worship, through a shared assignment, or through a divine interruption, through a house of worship. Maybe you visit a church in that new place, and they are already planted there. You see them serving, worshiping, or simply sitting quietly, but there's something about them that your spirit notices. Or they notice you. The Holy Spirit begins to highlight them, not in lust, not in obsession, but with gentle curiosity, through a shared assignment. Maybe you both end up working in the same organization or on the same project. Maybe it's a community event, a volunteer opportunity, a business idea, a ministry team. You see how they function under pressure. You observe how they treat other people. You are drawn to the way they carry themselves in their assignment, through a divine interruption. Maybe your first meeting is something completely unplanned: a delayed flight, a random seating arrangement, a neighbor situation, a conversation that starts because of a small practical issue. But in that interruption, you both feel a nudge. Pay attention to this person. I want to remind you of Proverbs 18:22. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. This means your spouse is not just an emotional desire. They are a good thing, a carrier of favor. God is sending you someone who will bring favor into your life and to whom you will also bring favor. Now, some of you may be thinking, but why does God need to move me? Can't he just send my spouse where I am? That's a real question. Let's talk about it. Sometimes God moves us because the soil where we are can't sustain what he wants to grow in us. Think of a plant that outgrows its pot. It doesn't mean the plant is bad. It just means the container is too small now. Matthew 9:17 talks about new wine needing new wineskins. New seasons often require new environments. There are times when God will bless you right where you are. But there are also times when the blessing is attached to obedience and movement. Think of Ruth again. If she had stayed in Moab, she would not have met Boaz. If Abraham had stayed in his father's house, he would not have walked into the promise. If Joseph had stayed in his homeland, he would not have been used to preserve lives in Egypt. Location doesn't limit God, but obedience positions you. So yes, God could send someone to your current city. But in your particular story, for many of you listening, he is saying, I am not only changing your marital status, I am changing your environment so that your marriage is birthed in the right atmosphere, an atmosphere where you both can grow, where your children, if God gives them, can flourish, where your gifts can be used, where your faith can rise, where your testimony will be. If I had stayed where I was, I never would have met them. But God knew. In a few minutes, I'm going to walk you through how to practically discern if a move is from God and not just from your emotions. I'll also share how to get your heart ready for this partner so that when you get to that place, you recognize them. But before I do that, if this is speaking to you, take a moment and like this video. It helps others who need this prophetic word find it too. And it tells the algorithm and, more importantly, heaven that you are in agreement with what God is revealing. Let's keep going. How do you know your move is from God and aligned with this marriage promise and not just a random idea? First, God's moves are consistent with His word. He will never guide you into sin, compromise, or confusion. 1 Corinthians 14:33 says, God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. If the move you're considering involves you hiding, lying, compromising your purity, or abandoning your relationship with Him, that's not God's relocation. The move God orchestrates will not be perfect or painless, but it will carry peace, alignment, and purpose. Second, there is usually a progression of confirmation, not just one sign. You start to see a pattern. Maybe you've been seeing the same place name multiple times. Maybe you've dreamt about a certain environment that doesn't look like where you are. Now different climate, landscapes, or streets. Maybe random videos about relocation keep popping up. Maybe you feel prompted to research housing or job opportunities in a specific area without fully knowing why. Don't be obsessed with signs, but don't ignore them either. God often speaks in patterns. Third, God prepares your heart. He doesn't just tell you move and leave your emotions in chaos. Yes, you may feel scared. Yes, you may feel uncertain. But as you pray, there will be an underlying sense of this is right. This is God. As Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Trusting means you may not understand all the why, but you choose obedience anyway. Fourth, timing. Ecclesiastes 3:2-1 reminds us that there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Sometimes God gives you the vision of moving ahead of time, and you hold it in your heart until the timing is right. You don't have to force it. When it's time, doors that were previously stuck suddenly open. Resources begin to line up. People who need to help you show up now. Let me bring it back to your partner's description. Because I know many of you are listening like, okay, tell me more about them. This person, your God-ordained spouse, is someone who will honor the process it took you to get there. They will not despise your testimony. They will appreciate that you obeyed God. They will be grateful that you trusted the Lord enough to move, to step out, to be vulnerable again in love. They themselves carry a testimony of obedience. They have left things before. They have had to walk away from certain circles that didn't honor God. They have had to say no to counterfeit relationships. Because of this, they will not pressure you to compromise. They will want your relationship to be built on Christ. They will be patient with your healing, gentle with your scars, and protective of your peace. They may also be slightly different age-wise than you expected. For some, they may be younger, but very mature. For others, older but youthful in spirit. Don't be surprised if their age stretches your old list. God is more concerned with covenant than your checklist. 1 Samuel 16-7 reminds us that people look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Character-wise, they are a mixture of soft and strong. Soft-hearted toward God and toward people. Strong when it comes to responsibility, integrity, and protecting what they love. They may have a generous streak, blessing others quietly, sowing in secret, supporting family, giving to causes. They are not perfect, but there is a generosity about them. Emotionally, many of them are calm. When storms come, they may feel them, but they do not fall apart easily. They have learned to take things to God in prayer. Philippians 4-6-7 speaks of presenting our requests to God with thanksgiving and receiving peace that guards our hearts and minds. Your partner is someone who has learned, sometimes painfully, to lean into that peace. Spiritually, they are hungry. They want to grow. They may already have a prayer life, but they desire more. They want a partner they can pray with, worship with, and seek God with. They might even have prayed specifically for you prayers like, Lord, wherever my spouse is, strengthen them, protect them, align them. When it's time, bring us into the same space. That space is that new place. There is something else about this place that I need to say. It will feel prepared for you. You will find things that match what you've been desiring in your heart, even if you never said them out loud. Maybe it's a strong faith community. Maybe it's a particular climate that your body feels better in. Maybe it's access to nature, to mountains, to the sea. Maybe it's opportunities for the kind of work you feel called to do. It will feel like a fit, not because it's perfect, but because it aligns with how God wired you. Ephesians 3:20 says, God is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power at work within us. You might have thought, Lord, I just want a good spouse, God says. I'm giving you a spouse and a place and a purpose all woven together for some of you. This move will happen quickly, almost suddenly. For others, it will unfold over the next months or even a couple of years. Do not compare your timeline to anyone else's. God knows when your heart is ready, when your finances are steady enough, when your healing has reached a point where you will not sabotage what gives you. Let me ask you something personal. If God opened the door to that place in the next 6 to 12 months, would you be ready? Not in the sense of having everything perfect, but in the sense of being willing. If your answer is, I don't know, this is your season of preparation. Use this time to deepen your relationship with God, to heal from past relationships, to forgive those who hurt you, to release X's in your heart, to get your finances in better order, to declutter your life, to learn skills, to say yes to the stretching that builds your character. Because when you get to that place and you meet that person, you don't want to be trapped in the past. You want to be present, whole, and ready. I want to share something else. Your future spouse is also preparing. They may not know exactly who you are, but they have been feeling a holy restlessness too. They might have been feeling like, I know my spouse is out there. I know God has someone for me. I'm tired of counterfeits. I'm ready for the real thing. They are being refined, just like you. God is not cruel. He is not sending you someone who is playing games while you are serious. He is aligning to hearts that are both saying, Lord, I want your will, not mine. 1 Corinthians 2:9 says, No eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who love him. That includes your marriage. You have some ideas, some dreams, but God's version of your partnership is better than what you've designed in your mind. You may not see how the pieces will come together, the move, the timing, the finances, the visa, the job, the housing, the introduction. But God does. He is the master strategist. He is not panicking about your age. He is not confused about your past. He is not limited by your location. He is already in that place, already with your future spouse, already seeing the day you both stand together and say your vows. The question is not, can God do it? The question is, will you allow him to lead you, step by step? Right now, I want you to say, quietly or out loud, Lord, I trust you with my move. I trust you with my marriage. Lead me, and I will follow. Remember Psalm 37 to 4 to 5? Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will act. You are not chasing a spouse. You are chasing God. The spouse is part of the He will act. As we begin to move toward closing this message, I want to recap what the Holy Spirit has been highlighting. You are not crazy for feeling like your current location is not where you're meant to stay forever. That restlessness is often a sign of transition. God is preparing to move you, whether physically, spiritually, or both, into a place that aligns with your calling, your peace, and your covenant promise. In that place, there is someone prepared. A partner who knows obedience, who has walked with God through their own fire, who values home, peace, and purpose. They are not perfect, but they are surrendered. They are not drama-driven, but peace-carrying. They will see you not as an option, but as God's answer.